Chris Olave last season, 87 receptions, 138 targets, 1,123 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Thoughts on Chris Olave?
You just want the efficiency to tick up a little bit. Now, part of that's Derek Carr, right? It's not necessarily what Chris Olave was doing. It took a minute for Olave and Carr to get on the same page. But you saw an increase in targets, catches, yards, um, and touchdowns from year one to year two. I like what his ability is in that New Orleans offense, but I don't know that I trust him at wide receiver number 11. Like I think you're drafting him at his ceiling in what this New Orleans offense is. So
I think if you go, obviously, if your strategy is, running back heavy at the top, which I think we'll talk a little bit, maybe we'll talk about this at a later show. If that strategy still works in most situations. But I think if you're going running back heavy, you're going to miss out on Chris Olave, and I don't think you should be too upset about that.
Kevin, I think, hit the nail right on the head, right? Like Chris Olave, you'll be happy if he's your wide receiver number 2, but if you're banking on him to be your wide receiver 1 for your team, you're going to have a roller coaster and ultimately kind of a disappointing ride, I think, when this one's all said and done. So there certainly is a path there where you can put him on your roster as a wide receiver 2, where you take like Amon-Ra St. Brown with the with your first round pick, you follow that up with a Chris Olave, and I think you'll be pretty happy with that pairing there, right? Like, but when looking through it, a little bit deeper in there as well, I think that you are drafting him about at his ceiling, right? Like, I don't know that you're going to see Chris Olave jump inside the top 10, top 9, top 8 when it's all said and done. One, I don't know that we're going to see this New Orleans offense put up enough points to really make that a possibility. I do think that the touchdown upside is limited. I do think that the, Derek Carr at times looked allergic to throwing the ball downfield to Chris Olave. So I don't know that I necessarily am trusting that to be my wide receiver 1 for my fantasy roster there.